3 letters, 1 word. FSU, Miami. And for 2020, it's the only rivalry game that Florida State is going to have against a team in the state of Florida. Welcome to Florida State Seminoles Live, the 72nd edition. Here on Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. I am Jason Parker from NBC6 in Miami, in enemy territory this week. Meanwhile, up in the safety of Tallahassee is our own Logan Robinson from Noel Game Day. Logan, how you living?
I'm living great. It's rivalry week. You know what? I'm actually really glad that bye week happened. That gave me some time just to kind of erase what happened on Saturday. And it is absolutely a new season here. I know this is a wild week. Miami rivalry is my favorite one over Florida. I think it's more nastier, more entertaining, bigger hits, better trash talking, better stories that go along with it. So it's Miami week. I'm excited. New week. And we hope that there will be better product on the field for Florida State.
Now, this you can tell how special it is because if our viewers at home are watching, you see Logan's got the new microphone. He's moving the set over to cover the natty ice that he'll probably be drinking at some point during the game.
I probably will be drinking a lot. I didn't drink at all two Saturdays ago for the Georgia Tech game. That was probably the problem. That is probably the problem. I put that loss, Florida State's loss, on me. I take that in a big way. That's so unlike me not to drink at all. But I did want to be fully sober for the Norvell era. But on this upcoming Saturday, I guarantee I will have a drink in my hand, and it's most likely going to be one of these beauties right here.
Now, what you could do this week in Tallahassee is you could have a drink with Mike Norvell because he will not be joining the team down here. The news broke on Saturday that on Friday, Mike Norvell did test positive for COVID-19. So the big question here is, from us, obviously, we want our best wishes go out to Coach Norvell. Luckily, his wife and his daughter tested negative as far as that test goes. But I guess my big question for you, Logan, is what are you hearing now? How long will he be out of the in-person part of coaching now in Tallahassee?
Well, what's pretty interesting is since he tested positive, he's actually been at the practices technically through Zoom. What he's doing is they're using either a laptop pretty much, and they have speakers set up throughout the whole entire field out there by the Dunlap whole facility with the IPF and everything. And what he's doing, he's going into groups, position groups, and coaching. You can most certainly hear him from one of my sources told me he is loud. And he's still going through the sickness, as you can see in the press conference. He's a little bit more tired and out of it. And that's understandable with the virus and everything going on. But it's going to be tough to figure out. I think the whole program right now is trying to figure out what he can do while he's there through virtually. If he can be there during even halftime, how far can he be into being with the team pregame? What is it going to look like? Can he only be there until they leave the hotel? Do they have a meeting before that? So this is something weird that nobody else, not around the whole, pretty much college football, has seen yet. So it's new to the program, most certainly for FSU, and probably new to protocols with the NCAA and what they're going to allow to go down. But I don't understand if there's like so many restrictions, because he's still your coach and he's not going to be there to give anybody the virus. So I don't understand why they wouldn't let him be there in halftime through like a webcam or something that they set up. But I'm sure we'll get some more answers on that, and Norvell will by Wednesday.
I'm sure Florida State's put some stuff together. Obviously, this pandemic has been going on since mid-March. All these teams have to have had some plan in place. I'm sure he will be able to in some way communicate, whether it's up in the press box where they can communicate through an iPad, phone, something like that. I'm sure there will be something going on. The biggest question I have for you is this going to be a one-week thing, or could this continue into Jacksonville State? Could we not see him against Jacksonville State? Could the next time we see him on the sideline be October 10th against Notre Dame?
I don't know. I think there's some optimism that he'll be good to go for the Jacksonville State home game here in Tallahassee, but he's still got to get tested again. And, if he's able to become negative on that front, then he's good to roll. But there is some optimism, though, that he'll be good to go for Jacksonville State. Fingers crossed. It seemed like maybe he like he said, he doesn't really understand how he got it either. Definitely with his family all testing negative and him going through the whole policies and going through the process that is Florida State has administered, and they've been very strict on a roll lately with it. He doesn't understand how he got it. The major concern was not just only Mike Norvell, but were there any other coaches? Will there be other coaches that we don't see there on Saturday? Are there other players? Because obviously during the first game, starting kicker Ryan Fitzgerald wasn't there, and then a handful of other, a special team guy, Grant Glennon, long snapper, and then a DB, Jarvis Brownlee, wasn't there. So it's kind of we wait and see what happens on Saturday to see if Florida State gets their full slate of the team. But obviously, Mike Norvell, that's a massive hit. You don't want that going into a rivalry game whatsoever.
I wanted to make the joke that he saw what took place against Georgia Tech and said, I can't coach this team, but we just wish the best for him on this one. Obviously, Chris Thompson, the deputy head coach, he will be taking over the quote-unquote head coaching duties. He's the seventh different head coach for Florida State, or excuse me, the fourth different head coach in the last 7 games, as opposed to Bobby Bowden, who was the head coach for 417 games over a 34-year streak. So here's my question to you. Why Chris Thompson? Why not Odell Higgins, who was the interim head coach the last 2 times?
I think mainly because Mike Norvell has a better connection and relationship with Thomason, and that's something that he probably like to have. And also, I do think that I'm pretty sure Odell Higgins is kind of on his last little leg here of wanting to be a coach at all, even for his position group. But I think he is a little bit worn out from the head coaching duties, and that's understandable. We're not expecting Odell Higgins to really have probably just a few more years left. So I know it was kind of a surprise for it not to be Odell Higgins, but I think Norvell and Thomason have a better, closer relationship, and with their past and their history, to be able to develop and make sure that this game plan that not only starts on Saturday, but it starts at the beginning of the week on what they need to dial in and jot down during practices, and definitely when it comes to game day, making sure everything's organized, because Norvell has had that relationship with Thomason in the past. So that makes it a better kind of ease and process into having Thomason be the interim.
And with Norvell and Tallahassee, that means Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, will be doing a lot more of the play calling. He'll be calling the plays there. What do you think that will mean for Florida State's offense? We talked about it, last week, how they look good on the first couple drives, and then after that they just sputtered away. Do you think that will help out James Blackman, who we have not officially heard yet, but I believe he was going to be the starting quarterback going into this game? You obviously different sources tweeted out that all the quarterbacks are healthy and they've all been practicing this week, but Blackman is more than likely going to be the starter. How do you think Dillingham doing the play calling is going to either help, hurt, or will things almost be the same?
It's definitely going to be different. I talked about this on our podcast, maybe just a little bit last week, but I'm kind of, this is Kenny Dillingham's first true game of going to be this play calling guy. He really wasn't that way in his previous stops, definitely in Auburn with Malzahn being there. He was not the play caller then, and he was not going to be the play caller here in Tallahassee. Mike Norvell is going to be the lead guy, and Kenny Dillingham most certainly has a say-so in things. So that's the good thing about what Mike Norvell and Dillingham have relationship-wise. So that's what gives me a little bit of optimism going into this game. But, you still got to, this is your first game, a rivalry game. It's going to be a decent defense against an offense that didn't perform really as much as obviously the team expected 2 Saturdays ago against Georgia Tech. So that he's going to be put into a tough scenario. But the good thing is Mike Norvell talked about it in the press conference yesterday that he feels like they're setting up a game plan, along with Kenny Dillingham also talking. I feel like they're setting up a good game plan to go against Miami's defense. I do expect Florida State to have packages set up for Jordan Travis. I don't think during Georgia Tech they really had a set-up game plan at all for Jordan Travis. They kind of threw him in there to create some kind of momentum that the offense really needed that we saw. So I think going into this game there, you will see set-up packages, drives dedicated towards Jordan Travis and maybe opening up the defense a little bit, so then James Blackman can have some chances on throwing the ball and hitting some targets. But I do think I am a little worried. I mean, if you're a human being and you're watching your younger offensive coordinator going in calling your first game, you've got to be a little nervous. But I do think eventually one day Kenny Dillingham has a bright future, and he's going to have a chance to show it against Miami on Saturday.
Florida State Seminoles Live, the 72nd edition here on MarkRogersTV, the voice of college football.
Yeah.
Rivalry weekend. I know you've said this before. You hate Miami more than Florida. I hate Florida more than Miami. We will talk about that, obviously, in the next half hour. We'll get into your favorite game in the series. We'll get into why you hate Miami, and we'll probably bash things a little bit, so stick around for that one. Obviously, the starting lineups did come out on Monday. A couple names that were interesting were Joshua Kando, who was injured in the Georgia Tech game. He is listed in the starting lineup. The biggest name, Handsome Nasruddin, will start against Miami. How big is that for Florida State to have both those guys back on the defense? That let's be honest, the defense struggled against Georgia Tech and their quarterback, Jeffrey Sims.
Yeah, just going straight to who you were first talking about, the Joshua Kando thing is kind of a little surprising. I got a little bit of some nuggets on, that he was indeed practicing just a little bit. They also thought that the injury wasn't so severe right after the game against Georgia Tech, which was some great news. And obviously, if he's cleared to go and they feel like he's ready to rock against Miami, that is a huge, huge thing for Florida State because, whenever you're facing a running quarterback like Derek King that can do numerous things, you've got to find containment. I know we'll talk about it whenever we get into previewing the Miami game here in a bit, but you've got to contain Joshua Kando. Even if you're building depth right there, you're good to have Joshua Kando back. And then Hamza Nasruddin, it goes straight back to talking about Derek King. You need a guy that tackles. Hamza Nasruddin is one of the top safeties in college football returning this weekend. Some really good news. I think he would have been fine facing against Georgia Tech, but they kind of wanted to let him get some extra rest. They probably could have had, they might have needed him against Georgia Tech. I don't think they were really expecting that game to be close, but here we are. That game's over with. You get him back against Miami, a really, really great player, knows how to tackle, and I hope they're going to be able to utilize him a lot. If it's Spine, Derek King, let it be. Is it Amari Gainer, whoever? But having those two guys be back on defense is solid, and I'm very happy for Kando because that injury looked a little scary, obviously, 2 Saturdays ago.
Let's talk about the enemy for a little bit. And the enemy is down in Coral Gables. They wear orange and green. Their fans are so stupid they only know how to one letter of their UM. They can only talk about one letter of it because they're really dumb. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next half hour as well. But the Canes, they come in ranked 12th in the nation. In the AP poll, they're 2-0. And their fans are chirping down here on the call-in shows, the newspapers, on all the boards and stuff. They are chirping. There is a segment of the fans who think the Canes are back. And let's give them credit. They had a big win against Louisville, thanks to their kicker, who transferred to FIU. They had to go to FIU to recruit a kicker, so we'll talk about that a little later on. But they did. Derek King did show up. I will give him credit. He did show up as a passer in this ball game. What concern do you have with him? And you mentioned him about being a running quarterback. Does he concern you more with his legs or his arm against Florida State's defense after what you saw against Georgia Tech?
It will concern me more about his arm if Florida State goes back to that zone BS that they ran against Georgia Tech. That doesn't work whatsoever whenever you've got the talent there at corner. Asante Samuel Jr., put him on man. That's how he plays at Florida State. If you're a defensive back, that's what you are prepared to come into. I don't know really what the Adam Fuller plan was there against Georgia Tech to run zone, but that's not going to go to work whatsoever. The game will be over by halftime if Florida State decides to go that way with this kind of quarterback. So that would concern me more if they do that. I do think Florida State, just looking back at its past history, has a really big struggle facing running quarterbacks. It's something that has been going on for years upon years, and that goes towards bad linebacker play and guys not being put in the right position. So I think you got to be worried about a mix of both, but the zone situation that Adam Fuller is going to have to figure out to cut off, that's how Florida State's going to stay in this game. It's not going to be able to work well because that's how you make a guy that really isn't he's not a god wonder of throwing the ball, but you can make him that way if you really want to. Louisville's defense was dog dookie and worse than a pile of dog blank. They're awful. They should never, ever – Louisville should never, ever be allowed on primetime ABC ever again. College game day should never be able to go to Louisville again unless Lamar Jackson comes back and plays another down there. They played terribly. Miami was able to rout them pretty easily. But just to say it, I mean, Louisville's defense was dookie. I understand that, all the rest of the teams, SEC doesn't start till this upcoming weekend, blah, blah, blah. That's the only reason they were there. But Louisville's defense was dookie. I mean, I know Miami fans are hype up about it, but the Florida State's defense is better, and I do think there will be a bounce back.
Miami's offense took advantage. They obviously had 2 plays in the second quarter, 2 plays, 150 yards. They got 2 touchdowns that ultimately won them that game. But let's talk about that for a little bit. Let's go to the other side of the ball, Miami's defense. Miami's offense scored 47 points. Yes, we give them credit for that. Their defense also gave up 34 points. And that's after coming off a subpar performance where they gave them some big plays against UAB. What does Florida State's offense have to do to take advantage of Miami's defense?
Well, I mean, there's numerous things that they could have done against Georgia Tech, but it wasn't there. I mean, just taking the little things, man. I mean, having your wide receivers, the guys that have experience, your veterans. I mean, straight up, you got to look at Tamarian Terry as being your number one weapon in that game. You've got to be able to take shots with him, to let him do his thing with his talent. I mean, he had chances against Georgia Tech, didn't execute. Warren Thompson had chances, didn't execute fully. And there's so many different opportunities for even Keyshawn Helton, who was targeted once, had a touchdown, but he was open numerous times during that game. So it's going to have to be Blackman in the way that he throws the ball. I wasn't too impressed by Florida State's running game in the first game. I think Sean Corbin, like he said in an interview, that he did have to knock off some rust. He hadn't played football in over a year. So him being back and hopefully kicking off some of that rust will make him be fully ready for Miami. And then also LaDamian Webb is good to go, which is a good sign for Florida State. So you get your 2 starting running backs back. Because right now you don't know which one is the starter. Hopefully someone's going to have to step up, and it's going to have to be big plays, and it is going to have to be a game for James Blackman again. I know that we're probably going to expect to see Jordan Travis packages, but the big-time players like Tamarian Terry, Keyshawn Helton, and then also even Cameron McDonald, they're going to have to execute and make the plays, and James Blackman's got to give them the opportunity.
Give me the one player on each side of the ball, offense and defense. And you know what? We got an hour to talk about it here, so throw in special teams too. I want the one offensive player, the one defensive player, and the one special teams player who are the most important, the guys who have to have the biggest impact for Florida State to beat Miami.
Well, first off, we're expecting James Blackman to be the starter, so I'd say it's an easy pick for James Blackman. But like I just talked about, Tamarian Terry has got to be there too. He had an opportunity against Georgia Tech, didn't happen. And it's understandable his mental wasn't there, but you got to hope that he's revamped and ready to roll. So I'd probably say more of Tamarian Terry. I do think they're going to put James Blackman into plays where he's going to be able to take shots. So that's where I need Terry to kind of pull up for FSU fans and make plays. Defensively, it's just going to have to be Marvin Wilson. I mean, we didn't see him last Saturday, and when we're talking about containing a quarterback and actually getting some push and bringing a threat there and make him throw that ball, you've got to have Marvin Wilson there. The whole D-line as a whole, I mean, those 3 with Robert Cooper, Corey Durden, and Marvin Wilson's got to step up, but it's got to be Marvin Wilson. We've got to see him, man. You weren't a first, second, or third round pick during the Georgia Tech game. You've got to revamp your mind and be ready. And hopefully, it's a rivalry game, so your mind and your adrenaline is already rushing. But you shouldn't have to tell that to a guy that is expected to be a first rounder. Time for Marvin Wilson to have a game, and it needs to happen immediately in the first quarter in order for Florida State to have a chance defensively. And then special teams, Travis Jay. I mean, he's a guy that I think is going to score one before the Jacksonville State game, either if it's a punt return or kick return, whatever they put him in. But I think we've seen a really good revamp of special teams here in Tallahassee already in game 1, which is a good sign. Kickoff return, punt return, everything. But we need, Florida State needs points, and Travis Jay is that guy. I think he's a top 3, if not, a top 5, if not a top 3 player on this team with just how much talent he holds. I mean, he can run with the ball. I mean, you might see some packages down the season with him in offense. I mean, he can just run with the ball, and he's really skilled. I mean, he did a great job in Madison County and won himself a state championship. But
that's panhandle football. Sorry,
panhandle. But yeah, I think Travis Jay, Marvin Wilson, and Tamarian Terry / James Blackman for the offense too.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with two of yours right there in a way. I think on offense, James Blackman, this is his last chance, and we've given him chances before. 2017, we excused that because it was his freshman season. He came in and replaced DeAndre Francois. 2018, he got one game to start, threw 400 yards, and everyone had all that optimism for 2019. And then 2019 comes around, and you're so bad at points that you're replaced by Alex Hornibrook. And as a fellow left-hander, you don't replace anyone with Alex Hornibrook. So this is his last chance. And I think you've hit the nail on the head when we've talked about this before. This is where the quarterback room has had the struggles because there is nobody. Your other options are Jordan Travis, who is a running quarterback, who I'm still not 100% sure can actually throw the football, or Chuba Purdy coming off an injury, or Tate Rodemaker, who are both true freshmen. So I think this is James Blackman's last chance to do anything. Defensively, I think it is Marvin Wilson. The secondary, I will give the secondary credit, minus Jaron Jones, the transfer from Mississippi State, who screwed up twice, and that basically cost Florida State the game. Asante Samuel did well. The secondary did well for the most part. But Marvin Wilson, and I've supported him in the offseason. I still support him for his social justice initiatives, the comments he's made. I've supported him 100% and will continue. If you're going to be the leader off the field, I need you to be the leader on the field. And this is going to be his chance coming up against Miami. As far as special teams goes, and it's a curse word to those of us in the FSU family, but it has to come down to the kicking game. Florida State was a missed field goal away from tying the ball game and having a tied game against Georgia Tech. One missed field goal kept us from having a tied ball game. So whoever is starting at kicker for Florida State, whether whoever the starting kicker is, I think that's going to be the most important position because as we've seen before, this game may come down to a kick. We've got a lot of idiot Miami fans down here who think Miami's going to blow us out. More of these games, more or less, have been close ball games. So who knows? At this point, it could be a kicker.
Yeah.
Here's my question for you, and we've talked about this somewhat on NBCMiami.com over the course of this week. What are your thoughts on Manny Diaz? Manny Diaz is entering his second year as the coach for Miami. He's 8-7 at this point. Robust 8-7 record. He was heralded as the defensive coordinator. Do you think, and I think he deserves all the criticism for last season, for them having a 6-7 record. Do you give him a pass for his first year in Miami, or do you think he's on the hot seat and needs a trip to the ACC championship in 2020?
I mean, he's gotten a lot of hype this whole offseason. Now that Derek King's there, it seems like there could be even playoff contention. I don't know who it was on ESPN, but they placed Miami and like a long shot to have the playoff reach the playoffs. I don't know if that was Herb Street or Desmond Howard. I don't know who it was, but they placed Miami Hurricanes to go to the ACC or go into the playoffs. Yeah. I think last year was obviously definitely a little bit more underwhelming for Miami and Miami fans as a whole with the talent they have. Obviously, it seems like it happens every year. This is why another thing, talking about the game on Saturday, Miami will start off the season hot. They look great, everything. And then out of nowhere, in the middle of the season and definitely in dreading for the rest of the season, they look like they're, barely almost a bowl team. That's the thing that's always been the problem the last decade or so for Miami, is that they just cannot finish off a season or even get to the middle of the season and then before things start falling apart. But I do think they do have a quarterback that's able to play their system, and that's what they want, and that's how they're going to be successful. I don't know how long they're going to be able to keep it because, just like I said, they have a disease that hits them. We'll see if that happens this season, but right now I do think they are a solid team that Florida State is going to have to be fully prepared for, both offensively and defensively, because Miami has a quarterback this season, and that's something that luckily as Florida State defense, they really haven't had to worry about that. That's not the team that they have to worry about that has a quarterback that has the play there. But for the coach, I mean, it's something that this season they have to get close to reaching that ACC championship mark. But it's kind of tough whenever you've got Notre Dame and Clemson there that are leading the charge, and how this system is going for the ACC, not having divisions. It's going to be tough to sneak into those 1 and 2 spots to get to the ACC championship.
Is this game? We've talked about how Florida State does not want to go 0-2. Florida State has Jacksonville State the game afterwards and then goes to Notre Dame. Miami has a bye week and then goes to Clemson. Is this a more important win for Miami or for Florida State? I have my answer, but I want to hear yours first. Who is this a more important game for, and who needs this win more, Miami or Florida State?
I mean, just covering Florida State and everything, and needing some kind of momentum to keep this season alive, to keep fans alive, to keep boosters alive. Obviously, this would be a huge win for FSU and Mike Norvell. And recruiting wise, I mean, that kind of keeps your recruiting momentum and creates some kind of vibe that, recruits will say, hey, you know what? Florida State might be on a better track here. So I think it's a bigger win as a whole for FSU because they need it. I don't think Miami really needs it as much as Florida State because, I mean, things could really start heading into a really bad direction. I mean, starting out the season 0-2, you're going to get your first win against an opponent that isn't at all regarded as a Miami or even definitely a Clemson or whatever. You're going to face Jacksonville State, and it's not even really there with it.
Don't sleep on the Gamecocks. We all remember what took place in 2009. We lost to Miami and barely beat them in a rain game in Tallahassee. I think it's a more important win for Miami, and I'll tell you why. Because Miami hasn't been in this position in a while. Miami hasn't been a big dog in the college football world, arguably since the 2017 season when they started 10-0 and then proceeded to lose at Pitt, at Clemson in their only ACC championship game appearance, and then get blown out by Wisconsin in the Orange Bowl. I think Miami, you hit the nail on the head. Miami has the talent to go 10-1 this season. I don't think they beat Clemson, but I think they have the talent to go 10-1. Do they have that mentality? And that's not a knock against Miami, and there's a lot of idiots in here who will probably say, oh, you're hating on the U. No, it's a fact. The fact is this is a Miami team that we saw last season kick the holy hell out of us in Tallahassee, kick the holy hell out of the Louisville team that everyone is jerking here, and then lose 3 straight games to an FIU team that ended with a losing record, a Duke team with a losing record, and a Louisiana Tech team that shut them out in the Independence Bowl. That's just the fact of the matter. Miami has not won big games in a while consistently. Last week was a big win for mentality, getting that big road win over a ranked team, showing up Derek King throwing 300 yards. Now it's all about coming back down here to South Florida, and can they do that against their rival? Can Manny Diaz extend his record to 6-1 in this rivalry game? He had 2 wins in Tallahassee when he was a GA at FSU, and he's 3-1 down here at Miami. And just remember, Miami, you need an FSU graduate to actually lead your program. But you know what you don't need to do? You don't need an FSU grad. You can get an FSU student to tell you to hit the like button. Right, Logan? Logan, we can't hear you.
Oopsies, I muted myself. Yeah, it's a 7:30 mark. Beautiful times. It's wonderful. We're here on a Miami channel too. Love it. 75 people watching. Not on the big channel right now, but fingers crossed we'll be back over there so we don't have to deal with these Miami fans. But they're awesome. They still come in here and communicate and have a good time and engage. So hit that like button. We're at 20 likes right now. We should be able to hit like 50 likes before this thing is over. I see the like button starting to jump off right now. I know this isn't your usual Canes kind of live stream, but we got to find a way to preview this game somehow. And if we have to do it over on a Rivals channel, we have to. That's our job. And this is just how it's going to have to be just for a little while. But make sure you hit that like button so then you'll be notified. We'll be shared with more people. The algorithm will give it more to FSU fans, and we can actually, communicate and have a good time and engage together. Make sure you hit that like button.
Shout out to New King God for giving $4.99. We appreciate that right there. I feel like we're bringing class to the Miami fans. They don't have a lot of it, down here. The one 69-3. No, that's not going to happen. You're an idiot. People think Miami's going to win by 40. You're idiots as well. But it's fine. We get it. You guys are stupid. You probably went to FIU. You probably can't spell UM. You don't even know University of Miami's not even in the city of Miami. You're dumb Miami fans. It's fine. We get used to that. So
this right here is a question from New King God. Our guy Nate, our recruiting insider, he never will pick Florida or Miami to beat Florida State. He's just a straight up Nole. He does a great job recruiting stuff for us at NoleGameDay.com. But he's going to keep that same energy. I don't think he's keeping the same energy as Miami by 40. It came to a shock of him on how the play was against Georgia Tech. But he does still indeed believe Florida State is going to beat Miami. I think that and a lot of like former players will never, ever, ever predict a Florida State team to lose to a Gator or a Hurricane. So that's the kind of that's just the way that he'll be.
So with Rivalry Week here, and shout out to our producer behind the scenes for pointing out all these Miami. Say it louder for the people in the back. That's zero. That's a zero.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the All Canes conference when they came in, and that's zero. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Yeah. They hopefully they're seeing that over there. I hope the chat's able to rock now.
So I have to be a little bit more political with my disdain for Miami, because obviously I cover the Canes and whatnot down here. You, however, can be a little bit more vocal in your dislike for the orange and green. So as we've reached the halfway point, it's rivalry week. Obviously, Florida was too scared to play us this year, so they backed out and agreed to play an SEC-only schedule. So I would like you to take a few moments to explain why you hate the University of Miami so much. Logan Robinson from Nole Game Day, why do you hate Miami so much?
I think it starts when I was younger and just being around Miami fans as a whole. I think growing up, I mean, at least from my dad was in the Marching Chiefs Big Eight. Shout out to the Big Eight over there. And just traveling to those games down in Miami and just hearing stories of them and how they treat Florida State fans is just kind of absolutely disgusting. And, you know, now growing up and when I was a little bit younger, like in middle school, you'd see videos of fights happening around campus where Miami fans are going at it with Florida State fans, and Miami fans are absolutely screw-faced at games, drunk out of their mind, falling all over themselves. They just don't give themselves a good look. And I do think that during game days, I think because Florida State players and Florida players as a whole, even if it's the Gators, but also just mainly Miami, a lot of these players that are rivals with one another, you know, it starts from where they grew up and where they played together, probably teammates back when they were in high school or maybe around the same region. They didn't like each other. So it just translates into whenever they're older and they're in college and they're facing one another, and it makes for a better and nastier rivalry to me. And, you know, just seeing Miami fans now just be completely out of their minds sometimes and just being complete fools while going into Doak and just looking like complete idiots is something that, you know, is just not so appealing. And it makes me kind of disgusted to have that bright, burnt orange. It just hits differently than the Gators one and the Clemson's.
See, I got see. Here's the thing, and let's give the University of Miami. There's students who go there. Students will actually not be at the game. Students are not allowed in the game, so it'll be the idiot fans who barely graduated from Miami-Dade Community College who will be there throwing up their one letter. So that's what we will have there, and that's the thing. Let's give the University of Miami credit. The students are fine. The alumni are okay. It's the idiots.
Well, they're completely fine because there's only about 5 or 10 of them in the stadium, and it doesn't really, you know, most of them, and definitely in this chat, didn't pay to go there. But no,
there's a lot of idiots who think going to FIU is the same thing as going to UM. So I guess so that's what we have to deal with down here on this side. So here's another question: what is your favorite memory of the Florida State Miami rivalry?
Nigel Bradham obliterating Bird in the middle of the field. Nigel Bradham not really even having to move much. Bird just kind of got whacked and was, I'm not going to say any more, but he kind of laid there and he got absolutely popped by Nigel Bradham. Should have never been ejected. Actually, Everett Dawkins intercepted the pass. So Florida State should have had the ball. The game was already pretty much over anyways, but yeah, Nigel Bradham popping him. I was there for that. You could hear that hit all the way up from where we were sitting. It was beautiful. One of my probably the best memories that I love big hits, but Nigel Bradham obliterating Bird in the middle of the field was beautiful because, you know, my boy Bradham didn't even have to really do anything. He kind of just stood there and was a stone figure, and Bird just kind of ran into him. Yeah, probably Nigel Bradham hit for me.
From a personal fandom, I'd probably have to go 1997 because beating them 47-0. But also at the same point, that was when Miami was not good. That was their 5-6 season, first losing season since 1979. So we'll put that in the past. I'd probably say more recently 2013 because Miami came in. They came into Tallahassee ranked number 7. College Game Day came into town. I believe that was actually the last time Game Day was at a Florida State Miami game in Tallahassee. I believe. I'll have to check on that one. But I remember Miami fans came in talking a lot of noise. And I believe, what was the final score of that game? What was the final?
Which one?
2013, the year we won a national title. They haven't won a national title since 2001, so that was a long time ago. 2013. Oh, we beat 41-14. That's right. And I believe it was a Devontae Freeman, who was from Miami, scored 3 touchdowns?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That game. Got it. Okay.
I think, yeah.
It was good, right? Yeah. I mean,
that was
yeah, it was good. That was a good time.
It was good. I mean, Devontae Freeman, also Dalvin Cook, man. Players that come down from South Florida and come up to Tallahassee, they seem to be a pretty good weapon against Miami defenses, and it kind of looks pretty easy.
Who is your favorite Florida State player from South Florida? Let's give some love to the 305, the 954, 561. Who is your favorite Seminole of all time to come from our area down here?
Probably Miami Central. I'm going to go Dalvin Cook easily. I think he is by far I think he was the best running back in Florida State history. And the way that he would show up for games is something incredible. And what he did to Miami was beautiful. I do think he's going to end up being one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's too talented. My man just got paid too. But watching the games, and you're about to find out how much you miss a really good running back because Florida State's going to have a different kind of running back unit this season. But watching Cam Akers or watching Dalvin Cook in person is something unreal, just like how it was with Jameis Winston. I mean, you're paying pretty cheap to see some superstar there. But yeah, Dalvin Cook for me. How about you?
Well, I just want to go back to that idiot Cuban Kane who doesn't realize that he's such a dumbass in South Florida. Yeah, this guy. You're a dumbass, Cuban Kane. Just keep going. Enjoy community college. My favorite Seminole of all time from South Florida would probably be Marvin Jones as linebacker because he came in. He was one of the first big names to come from South Florida. Obviously graduated from Miami Northwestern High School and then went up to Tallahassee and kind of led that whole revival. Florida State back in the day in the Howard Schnellenberger, Jimmy Johnson era was able to come in and get some guys. But Marvin Jones made it cool. And that started an exodus in the late 80s, early 90s of just all the great talent that went up to Tallahassee. Recently, I got to agree with you. Dalvin Cook, we've talked about this before. Dalvin Cook was the most underrated player of the last decade at Florida State. Without him, we're almost as bad as Miami was last decade. So that's pretty much we were at that point. Now, Eddie, right here, we beat y'all by 17 points last year with a garbage OC. Wait, I thought Dan Enos was supposed to be the greatest thing in the world since he came from Alabama. Okay. Congratulations, Eddie. Great job. Did we beat Rhett Lashley in the national title game? We beat him, right? Yeah, he was the coach of offense. So. But here's a question for you. Last year's game was the first game by more than one possession. And yes, we talked about this. Florida State, they came in, they laid an egg last year. Do you expect to see on either side, do you expect to see another game like last year, or do you think it'll be a closer game?
Yeah. I want it to be a close game. I do. And I do think it will be close, at least in the third quarter, but something, I don't know. I mean, I want it to be close. I think obviously last year, Florida State was put into a chance, and even the year before that, even more, to actually beat the rival Florida State. DJ Matthews brings back a punt return where you're like, Florida State's actually about to rout Miami and Coral Gables, but that didn't end up happening. But I do think it will be a close game in the third quarter. And from there, I can't really tell you what could happen because I'm not giving our score prediction until the end of this.
Just for the record, there's schools in Coral Gables. They rent a stadium. They don't even have a stadium on their campus. They have to rent a stadium in Miami Gardens.
That is true. But they do have a 60-yard IPF, though, right? 60 yards. How many is it? How many yards is it? 70.
IPF. The field is
70.
Yeah, their field's 70. So that explains all their red zone problems last season. Why they couldn't score against Georgia Tech.
70 yards. That doesn't happen here.
I will actually give Miami fans a little bit of credit.
Doesn't hold on real quick. Doesn't Florida State's marching chiefs, they have 100 yards? How many yards is their practice field?
Correct.
Their practice field, the band, the marching chiefs have 100-yard practice field. Okay, good to know.
Yeah,
I was just wondering,
Yes, NYC Kane, I called you idiots because your fans are idiots. Moving on. I will give Canes fans credit, though. They did call out one of the sports anchors down here who decided to rip us against Georgia Tech after we lost to them by pointing out, you guys lost to Georgia Tech too. You let their fat punter throw a touchdown on you last year. Like, how did that feel? How do you think that would feel to let a fat punter throw a touchdown? As a former fat guy myself, I would be hurt by that. If I were Miami, what are your thoughts?
I think that's tough. You just hate to see that. It's rough. It's tough. That's kind of like the FIU game.
That was a tough game.
It's rough. You hate to see that kind of stuff go on, definitely, and goes across national media and stuff. Really, really not a good thing.
No.
Not at all.
That was
this chat is. This is the first time I've ever seen someone have to get blocked from the chat here for a few minutes. This thing is rowdy, and I'm loving it. This is how rivalries are supposed to go.
I refuse to look at the comments because I can't stand Miami fans who can't write proper English. So what do we got going on? Phyllis said, what is going on in the chat over here?
The chat is rocking like we just saw. Freddie Smith Jr. was just blocked for 5 minutes. A shout out to Freddie. I'm sure he said a few nice words.
Nice.
But yeah, our producer in the back end dropped him off. But we've got a few supportive people in here. Obviously, we're doing this on the Miami channel, so this is all expected. But they are. Let's see.
For the record, I do hate Florida. So there we go. There's still a lot of
Turan
fans who didn't go to FSU as well, Jason. So, good job, Eddie. Yes, I've said that before. There's idiot TCC Knowles, idiot Santa Fe Community College Gators, idiot Miami-Dade Canes. There's just more of you because, well, you're stupid. So moving on.
Turan Blow says, get these clowns their own channel. Man.
Well, maybe if you could actually get your people to get on your channel, we wouldn't have this free time.
Someone's got to bring the viewers up here on this channel, so that's why we're here.
It's okay. Thank you, the Dadzo, for hitting the like button on this one. So
yeah,
we've talked smacked, we've talked up Florida State. So now we're here. We're in the fourth quarter here this week, the 72nd edition of Florida State Seminoles Live. So let's be realistic. We both love our Noles. We both love Florida State football. Does Florida State have any chance of coming out on top in this game? And if so, what does Florida State need to do to leave South Florida with a victory?
Offensively, I think the defense is going to become prepared. I am expecting Marvin Wilson to wake up. I need to go ahead and say right here, Marvin Wilson shouldn't be put at all in the same kind of tier as Timmy Jernigan. I don't even know if he's up there with Eddie Goldman. I'm kind of tired of that whole kind of comparison on how he should be. He's just not going to be a Timmy Jernigan. I just want to get that out there. But it's going to have to be the offense. And if James Blackman's out there, he is going to have to execute and make his reads. He doesn't have to make incredible reads. He just got to make his easy reads and pick up coverages. I don't know really what he was doing against Georgia Tech and where he wasn't finding people. That's something that we're not used to seeing with James Blackman. You're used to seeing him take shots, but as you can see against Georgia Tech, he went over to the sideline and they planned for the next series for him to take shots, desperate shots. And, it seems like when it's forced for him, things don't hit whatsoever. And he's throwing his guys 5 yards in front of him. He's thrown into triple coverage where there's just no need to whatsoever, where he could be taking easy first downs and having some kind of momentum to build on offense. But it's going to have to be James Blackman. He's just going to have a big game. And it's rough to actually rely on him to do this. But Florida State is going to have to score points in order to stay with this game because the defense is going to try to do as much as they can to keep it there. But, either special teams obviously has got to step up. You got to hope Travis Jay can bring back one. But the offense has got to do something. It can't be as atrocious as it was last year or the year before. There's smarter play. There's better organization. There's guys that are put into opportunities to make plays. They got to execute. That was a big problem 2 Saturdays ago. And a lot of people wondered why we weren't really putting as much blame onto Mike Norvell and the staff last game. Well, players were put into a lot of situations last Saturday. 4 touchdowns Florida State missed out on against Georgia Tech. Emmett Rice, pick 6. Asante Samuel Jr., 2 pick 6s. And then also Teron Terry, a touchdown that he dropped. That is 28 points that Florida State missed out on just off of bad execution and missed opportunities. If they can fix those in those certain situations, this will be a game on Saturday going into the fourth quarter without a doubt.
Here's something Miami fans will love, because I'm going to be the negative Nancy, the Debbie Downer, as you like to call me here. If Florida State does lose and falls to 0-2, is there a chance Florida State has a losing season?
Possibly. I mean, I no longer am too impressed by Louisville like I was heading into the season. I think North Carolina is still going to be a solid team in the ACC this year. But yeah, you still got Clemson, you got Notre Dame. I mean, you're going to be struggling to stay positive, most certainly. So, I mean, a losing season is most certainly rough. Mike Norvell won't be, and from the season, no spring, you don't get quarterbacks. Trevor Purdy hasn't really even practiced yet. I mean, fully. I mean, you look at Tate Rodemaker, he's not ready fully. I mean, it's just the whole coronavirus and everything going on. It's just been a complete crap show for FSU. So, if it's a rough season, the biggest thing that you heard is recruiting right now. And the only recruits you're going to get anyways with how the season is going and how the season is going for every team is if the player is already visited or he really just loves the school and he's going to either commit or stay committed. So recruiting wise, it's just already a complete cluster F.
Miami will only have 13,000 fans in the stands because of the limitations with COVID-19. No students will be in there. Do you think that will
How many?
13,000.
Sorry, how many? Okay, nothing new then. Okay, sweet. So nothing new, really.
Be honest. They usually have 20,000. Let's be honest, because students would be
20,000. I'll give them an extra 7. I mean, Florida State fans do come there. I will agree. So that usually helps fill it up.
There will be a decent amount of FSU fans in there. So that would be my question to you. Is it going to help Florida State that, yes, let's be honest, Miami right now should be favored. Miami right now on paper is a better team than Florida State. Does it help Florida State at all that there will not be as much of a crowd factor, if you will? Fans aren't allowed to tailgate, so fans won't be getting drunk in the parking lot. Students aren't going to be there being idiots. So that's my question. Does that help out Florida State?
Possibly a little bit. I mean, they were at their home game, though. And Florida State had a good-sized doke with attendance there. They had all the support they needed, and obviously didn't really mean much against Georgia Tech. Does it make you kind of wake up more and get a little bit more of some kind of drive and adrenaline rush to be outside, definitely facing a rival and going to an away game? I do think you get a little bit more connected with your mind and getting ready for a bigger matchup, because that's just how it goes in football. And I think you see also pro teams usually play a little bit more tunnel vision with tunnel vision, because they're out of their home and they're put into an area where they just need to focus on their assignments. So I do think actually this away game actually might be a good kind of wake up call for this team and ready to play and see what kind of thing they can bring to the field. But I don't think it will be too much of a factor.
This is the second straight week you've used tunnel vision, which is a song titled by Kodak Black, who's a rapper from Broward down here. So, I mean, I didn't know. Are you channeling your pick by quoting Kodak Black 2 weeks in a row?
No, I am not. Shout out to Kodak, though. Actually, not really shout out to Kodak. He came out. He's kind of 50-50, though. He'll wear FSU gear, though, so he doesn't really know which team he's pulling for. I mean, he was over there on the Florida sideline last year.
Yeah, no, he can go to hell. He's a Gator.
Or two years ago. I don't know, wherever it was, but he was in Tallahassee on the Florida sideline.
Yeah, so he can go to hell. He's a Gator. Once again, Canes dislike Gators, go to hell. That's all I can say there. Yeah, that's fine. NYC is throwing out that he graduated from Columbia University. Congratulations, you didn't graduate from Miami. So moving on. You're a typical Kane fan.
Good.
You're
cool fact here from.
Shout out NYC Kane. You're helping my case right there. All right, so we're
also
here.
hashtag. Sorry, and also hashtag who asked. Just putting that out there. Who asked? I didn't ask.
I am.
I'm trying to amp up their chat here because this is weak. I mean, 91 and mainly Miami fans in here. We got just 10 more minutes left.
Eddie, I will have the same energy next Tuesday because I actually have a degree from the school, so I'm going to be a Nole no matter what, win or lose. I'm not going to be like you, who can be a fake Kane whenever they lose. So here's my question to you, Logan. It's that time. It's that time. We are at the point where we both have to settle down, calm down. You have to stop firing up these fans who are going to try to kick my ass this Saturday outside Hard Rock Stadium.
Yeah, I can talk. You're down there around all of them. So
you're going to be in Tallahassee. I'm down here with my pass and whatnot. And you're going to be sitting up there, enjoying it, watching a 180-pound, 37-year-old man get his butt kicked down here.
I'll be drinking this. I will be drinking this.
So seriously, it is that time. Florida State Miami, the 65th edition. Miami holds a 4-game lead in the series right now. They're on a 3-game winning streak in a series defined by streaks. Does Miami extend the streak, or does Florida State pull off the upset? Give me your thoughts and give me your picks.
Well, I will say at the beginning of the season and during this whole offseason, I was predicting Florida State to beat Miami. I thought there would be a different product on the field against Georgia Tech, but I was indeed wrong about that. Kind of came to a shock to me. I do think there is some optimism for Florida State, like I said, because guys were put into positions to make plays and they just weren't simply executed. And that can be fixed. That's a good thing that can be fixed. I don't think in certain aspects, Florida State's team was all over the place and screwy-dewy like we've seen with the last coaching staff. I think guys are there and can actually put points on the board if they actually take advantage of where their coach is putting them. So I do think that's going to be fixed. It's going to get better on Saturday. If I'm going to predict a score,
you're going to do it, aren't you? You're going to pick against your alma mater, aren't you?
A lot of things have changed here, Jason. A lot of things have changed. I think Florida State is in desperate mode for a quarterback, and the one that they're going to be rolling out there for the rest of the season isn't fully healthy yet. And I just wasn't impressed by an experienced quarterback that is a veteran that should be able to take the easy reads and everything like James Blackman. So I'm going to go Florida State. I'm going Florida State 17, Miami 27.
Ugh.
On Saturday. Florida State does lose against the Miami Hurricanes. I was not expecting to predict that because during the offseason, like I said, it didn't seem like Florida State was going to be putting me into this position to do this, but I do indeed have Florida State losing against Miami on Saturday and Coral Gables.
That is hurtful. That hurts. On behalf of the Alumni Association, we're upset with you at that pick. If Miami plays offensively the way they did against Louisville, Florida State will be in trouble. And I'll be the first person to admit that. I do not trust Miami at this point because we have not seen Miami play like this since 2017. We have not seen Miami be – they have not been ranked this high since they lost the opener in 2018 to LSU. So we have not seen Miami play this well or be this much of a hyped team at this point. If Miami brings that same offensive energy, Jalen Knighton, who was a running back commit to Florida State before flipping to Miami, he had a big game. Cameron Harris has had a big game running back. D.R. Kane quarterback. If they play the way they did against Louisville, I think Miami wins 31-24. However, and I will go to my grave saying that just like your friend Nate, I will never pick Miami or Florida. So while my head may say that, my heart says something else. I do think I don't trust Miami at this point. I don't trust Miami to I don't think they've proven that they can be in the spotlight and do things in the spotlight. So I think Florida State comes down here, pulls off the 27-24 upset victory on a missed field goal. I think Miami is talking kicker hype. I think Miami missed.
Wow, missed kick. Wide left or wide right?
I think they're going to switch it up. I think it's going to be. I want to say it'll be another block at the Rock, but I'm gonna say it goes wide left. I think they're going to be a little bit different than us. They know wide right is our term. We still can't watch kickers actually kick the ball, so I'm going to say they're going to kick it wide left.
Okay. I like that. So either way, one of us are going to be wrong on Saturday. And what's going to be the bet if we're wrong? Because if we're finally betting differently.
You won't be wrong. You'll just be incorrect. That's all. It's a big difference.
If I'm wrong, what do we do? Are we doing push-ups?
If Mark Rogers ever comes back, he has to do 50 push-ups.
Okay. I'll take that. We definitely spice. Let's look. Hold on. Wait. Let's read the chat here. Let's read the chat after your prediction here. The full caps thing is something that Miami fans use in this chat a lot. They are very angry fans. 863 Kane. I love this one. This one's great. 40-10. Unless we wear all black, it's going to be 95-3. That's what from 863 Kane there.
863 Polk County area code. So obviously you are stupid, but okay. From on that one.
Trash man, not Blackman. That's from JB. His initials are actually JB.
Creative. They're creative fans down here. Got it.
863 Kane again. Full caps, by the way, just letting you know. GTFOH. Y'all are at least 2 years away from being competitive again.
God. I want Miami fans to have the same energy if Florida State pulls off the upset, and I hope next week we're back here in the Miami room. I
do. I am right there with you. If I don't know if we save it for Tuesday night or we jump on here late Saturday evening or we do it early Sunday morning or what we need to do. But I hope everybody, if that does happen and Florida State does upset Miami and Coral Gables, I hope that everybody comes back and attends because there's 103 watching right now.
They won't because they have that morning shift at Publix, bagging groceries the next day. So that's why they got to do that. So no, they can't.
Oh, okay. I hope so because it creates a good, it's even that way. Wait, Dante Cologne says, notice y'all didn't read my message! Exclamation, 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 exclamation. Suckas 100. What did he say?
Suckas. Oh, so he was an English major.
With the Z. Suckas.
English major at Miami College. Got it. Okay. Or was it Broward College? I'm not sure.
Here it is. This is what he wrote at 7:55. We're sorry, Dante. You wrote a paragraph, and I don't feel like reading a book today. I did my homework earlier.
Eddie has a solid idea. Jason has to shave his head, face, and eyebrows if we win. Eddie, good suggestion. No way in hell it's going to happen, but good suggestion. Let's give Eddie credit for actually coming up with a suggestion on this one. Shout out to Eddie on that one.
I think that's great. I would love to see it, but that's just not going to happen to Jason at all. Dante says, Logan, if you're going to still be delusional, put your beard on the line. I warned you and Jason about Georgia Tech. And of course, you both predicted FSU 8-3 and beating Miami.
Yes.
Corba retreat.
Can I get a producer to go back to that last quote? I just want to see where they think Miami's going to win by 500, I believe it said. Miami's new kicker won't miss inside 60 yards. Oh, here we go. Bro, talking about FSU, going to bet Miami. I'll beat you 500, honestly. I don't think they're missing a couple punctuation marks. Something's. All right, you know what, Miami fans? Good job, good effort. Tim Polson, 52-3, FSU gets steamrolled. Okay. You know what? God bless the Miami fans. A for effort. Good job, good effort. Let's give them the best of luck. And you know what? No matter what, whether Miami wins, whether Florida State wins, the bottom line is the University of Florida sucks worse than Miami, and you need to realize that.
Yeah, we can all agree. We as affiliates here, we can all agree that we didn't. As a student, I don't like the Gators. I do think that we can all agree on that inside the chat. But I will say though, if Florida State does indeed end up upsetting Miami fans, either if Jason's not going to be awake because he has to get up really early on his Mondays and Tuesdays, if he's not going to be awake late Saturday night after having definitely a couple of these, and Florida State just upset Miami, then I will make sure the producer of the show lets me come on here, and I will be here late Saturday night at midnight chatting with you.
We can do it live from the stadium. I'll get on the cell phone and do it live from the stadium, and I'll do it with Miami
exactly.
fans. Absolutely. And if Florida State loses, we will act like that didn't happen.
One swole Knoll says Blackman 3 pick sixes. That's not a great energy you want to have from a FSU fan.
But let's be honest. After what we saw at Georgia Tech,
what is this?
Actually, I will give a shout. I'm wearing a Marlins hat because in honor of the Canes not having their own stadium and having to rent a stadium, I'm decided another team that once rented that stadium, the Marlins, rented that stadium for about 20 years. So I wanted Miami fans to feel special. We're not the only idiots who rented their own stadium.
Hey, you need to watch out, Jason. Insane Kane, no caps. Insane Kane at 801 said, I hope I see you in Miami. I would watch out for Insane Kane. That dude looks like he could be brutal.
I would love to. Once again,
does he want a signature?
I mean, obviously, if he wants to, we can get, we can do it. Let's do a podcast with him next week. Insane Kane, you come back on, we'll do a podcast with you. Since you want the smoke, bring the smoke.
Oh man!
If I come back next week with like broken glasses and like a black eye, you'll know exactly what happened. Apparently here. Miami fans, please don't. Miami fans, we can smack talk, but let's leave the physical fighting to go up to Tallahassee, go kick Logan's ass. That's when
come to me. I'll take it. I mean, I will. But it's all good and fun. It's good here on the chat show. 104 people watching. This is incredible. We love it. You love to see it. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. I know we have FSU people on here. It's a little bit different. Hopefully things will get back to normal, but make sure you hit that like button so then more people will be able to see it, and maybe some FSU fans will be able to jump in and give their takes on whenever this gets uploaded for the VOD. But this is great. Insane Canes.
No, 904 Hurricane being a reasonable Miami fan, saying Manny's not going to let Miami sleep on FSU, and I do agree. I think all kidding aside, Manny has done a good job about letting them know this is Florida State Miami. It's arguably the best rivalry in college football the last 35 years. It's going to be a great game, no matter what. What is Insane?
Hilarious. Multiple people saying, "See you at the stadium." See it. Don't matter.
Where can we tailgate before? That's going to be my question. Hey, Karen, how's it going? Where can we tailgate before? Can we go? There's a Walmart across the street. We can go there. There's a Sonic. There's world famous. They have great egg rolls there. Great solid egg rolls.
Yeah, y'all can meet up, get a few drinks. Drinks on them, right? When they're coming, they want to meet you, so drinks on them.
I mean, they want to be honorary. They want to be guests. They want to be gracious hosts. I mean, that'd be phenomenal. I mean, I live 10 minutes away from the stadium, so it's not like I'm traveling that far. But sure, I'll take one for a free beverage. It's fine.
Man.
We love you, Miami fans. We love talking smack to you, but in the end, we're the two best teams. Eddie, we'll see you there. We will be there. What do you got going on this week on Noel Game Day?
Well, on Thursday, we are recording on Zoom for our podcast with oh my gosh, I'm completely losing my mind. Well, Nate Greer will indeed be there as one of our guys as a co-host. Obviously, Austin and Dustin Lewis, our lead writer and editor, will be on there with us to actually record. And then also Everett Dawkins is indeed going to be there with us. So we'll be recording that on Thursday. You can listen to the podcast on here. The Spear. Also, if you want to become a Patreon for Noel Game, they get insider news, nuggets, and recruiting scoop. That is patreon.com/Noel Game Day. We've seen a lot of people join in and really appreciate the support.
which I'm sure these Miami fans are just dying to get insider information on Noel game day. I'm sure.
Oh,
Read the room, Logan. Read the room.
Close to 250 members in just the first couple of months. So, I mean, the thing is, when you're getting an inside scoop, we already let our people know about Trevor Purdy this weekend that he was indeed practicing and good to go. So, might be a good time to join. But I know there's a lot of Miami fans on here, so they probably don't give up a flying F.
Well, over on NBCMiami.com, we have the whole game covered. We're going to be doing it all week. Monday, we put a story up about the history of the streaks. How this has been a streaky series. Teams don't win one game back and forth. This has been a streak series. Today we talked about how both teams are kind of going in different directions this game. Tomorrow we will have a story about Manny Diaz, and what a lot of Miami fans don't know about him is ties to Florida State. And then coming up Friday, we will have the best preview, the one preview you will need for this entire game. Yes, that's right. I'm going to put a preview up on my day off work. So, Logan Robinson, thank you for joining us once again. We appreciate it.
Have you agreed, Jason?
What's that?
Have you agreed, Jason, that if Florida State wins on Saturday night, we'll be in here or we'll be on streaming to these beautiful YouTube fans?
I'm going to be busy trying to get out of the stadium without either A, telling Miami fans where they can go, or B, getting in physical fights with Miami fans. Not provoked by me, obviously, provoked by people like, what was it, Insane Kane, I believe is his name?
Yeah. There's a few of them that are coming after you.
Apparently, guys, come on. Come on, guys. I'm gonna put Miami-Dade police on this one. Good Lord.
Yeah. Eat crow live analysis.
That's true. We should do that. You know what? We should do that. Win or lose, we should do a analysis show.
God.
You can be intoxicated.
Man, how brutal would that be?
You'll be intoxicated. I'll be possibly in a hospital bed, but we can do it through cell phone. They have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you'll be. I don't know what could be happening to your face, but it seems like I'd have some security bringing you inside the stadium and most certainly leaving. And definitely if you win on Saturday, I'd have security taking you to your car.
Come on, guys. Come
on. Oh, man.
Who wants them now? Who's threatening physical violence now?
I don't know. Maybe we can do a call-in show too. I don't know. We'll see about that. A lot of people are asking for that, so we'll see. But definitely appreciate everybody listening. Like Jason said, really appreciate it. It is Miami week. It is also FSU week for you Miami fans. So everybody hates each other right now, and we'll see if we'll do a recap show after the game on Saturday because why not, right? And we've been dreading not having any sports for like 6 months or so. It's finally here. Let's just talk about it more.
Can you just agree with me? Let's try to appease the Miami fans for 1 second. All right, let's just try to do one thing. Okay. F the Gators.
Yeah.
Good way to
end it off.
Can we
get in the chat?
If you agree with that, give me a hell yeah in the chat, and we'll go with that right now. F the Gators. Anyone?
Yeah, something like that would be great.
Yeah. That'd be great. Logan Robinson, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week, win or lose, and Saturday night, win or lose. Let's see what happens there. Thank you guys for joining us. We appreciate it. Florida State, Miami, 7:30 Saturday night inside Hard Rock Stadium. We'll see you then. Take it easy, guys.